in an effort to get this done, this says that the mayor won't sign the ordinance and it won't take effect until that happens. But if they pay the city back the cost that the city incurred for the subdivision.
I gotta break in or I'll forget my train of thought. Before it won't happen, or before it happens, say the zoning board of appeals voted not to do one of these things.
And it takes a 2/3 vote here to do it.
But if we approve it, it could be signed regardless of what the zoning board of appeals recommendation was, correct?
Yeah, if you get a 2/3 or better
If we
vote.
get a 2/3 vote on this ordinance, if we didn't get a 2/3 vote on this ordinance, and the zoning board,
2/3 vote from
the council.
Yeah,
So if we didn't get a 2/3, yes.
now or after?
after the zoning board.
So now, if we didn't get it after,
No, now would be to recommend the zoning board approve it. If the zoning board doesn't approve it, in spite of your recommendation, when it comes back here, and they recommend not approval, then 2/3 of the council, which is, I guess, what, six, would have to vote in favor of overriding the recommendation of the zoning board if you're going ahead and granting the variance for the brick requirement. Otherwise, it would be
The brick and all the variances, all five? Or
No, just the brick,
just the
brick.
Just the masonry is the only one that would actually go.
and it wouldn't be signed until that happened. Alderman Demus?
Why aren't we handling this in a normal fashion? Why are we spending so much additional time on it? Why are we spending more legal time on it? I don't understand.
Because every time I turn around, I hear something new on this. We've been looking at this property for I don't know how many years, and every time we think we get close, Tom comes up with something else. And I don't understand it. Every time we turn around, something else is thrown at us. This is the first time I've ever heard of a sewer situation out there, which really concerns me because we have a commercial property right next door to it and another residential property right next door to it that we were looking at the possibility of a hotel, a restaurant, and a nursing home. And if there's that big of a sanitary sewer issue, we've got bigger issues brewing in this area than just this. And, you know, the masonry ordinance, we discussed this 2 times. Nobody had an issue with the variance, and now all of a sudden, we have an issue that it has to have a variance and go through the process. Yet, everybody sitting in here was sitting in here, you know, a month ago when we discussed this. So I just don't know why every time we turn around, there's another hurdle.
Well, on the masonry issue, it's because Tom discovered a procedure, and I don't think it's the city's fault. You know, it's up to the developers to walk these things through the departments and hear what the problems are.
I can send you my review letters, each one, sure. And I don't think you're gonna find a lot of inconsistency.
Well, this is the first time I've heard of the masonry ordinance issue. I mean, there was an issue, but this is the first time I heard it had to go through the planning commission and the zoning board.
Well, it's in the state statutes and it's in your city ordinance.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying this is the first time we've heard of it here, and it's been discussed 2 other times. This is the first time we heard that it had to go through that process. Alderman Rauch.
Can I make a suggestion? There's 5 things that we're a little bit shaky on here, and I would like to recommend that Tom, and I know Ron's not on this week, I'd like to recommend before our next meeting that Tom, Ron, and Mr. Meyer sit down and get these things hashed out to where Tom's comfortable with. So I don't think anybody's real comfortable with any of this. There's just too much here. Whether, you know, it's thrown at us tonight or not, I think a meeting between the 3 of us to get this worked out.
And what I was going to say, and in the time it's going to take to go before the zoning board of appeals and come back, perhaps all of those issues can be worked out so that everything comes together in 3 or 4 weeks and it's done. I think
Sure, I'll do whatever.
that's the way. I think that's the way to do it. It's going to take time to do it before the zoning board of appeals anyway. So by that time, the sewer, you know, your engineers might have the solution to that. We'll come with a complete package and go right through.
Any other questions or comments? Well, I hope it comes back with something, because it's been, I mean, it's been months. I mean, this has been in front of us quite a few times, and every time we think that it's almost complete, when we hear a new step or a new process. And why it's difficult to develop in Columbia. We need to figure out a way to get these, all this stuff up front, because these hurdles and these steps are not user-friendly at all.
Well, the prior plants all said private septic systems and no public sewer. And the the prior plants only had 3 lots. And then he acquired another 30 foot and it became 4 lots. So each time things change, then, our ordinance applications to the facts can change.
Yeah, the 3 lots and 4 lots doesn't change the masonry ordinance. It doesn't.
No, that wouldn't change the masonry ordinance.